Alrighty guys, today on Schmidty's Off-Road, we're gonna do a little tech tip Tuesday, but it's Sunday, so not really tech tip Tuesday, tech tip Sunday. Let's go with that. So we're gonna go dive into blow-off valves a little bit. I've got the RPM blow-off valve here on my Pro. Obviously I've got it taken apart a little bit, but there's been a lot of people asking or just kind of questioning the adjustment on a blow-off valve and what does that even mean. Some people don't even know what a blow-off valve is. So I'm gonna try to break it down for you guys a little bit in this video today, show you how to adjust, at least adjust the RPM blow-off valve. They send you a few different springs. Some are stiffer, some are softer. And that's pretty much the only adjustment you have. And I'm gonna try to sketch up a little bit of a drawing of how the blow-off valve works and where this spring comes into play, but it comes with a light one from RPM. I'm gonna put a little bit stiffer one in. From what I understand, if it's too soft, when you're just cruising, you're gonna hear a little bit of it's not the blow-off valve noise you think of all the time. It almost sounds like you have a boost leak, but it's really just your blow-off valve. It's cracked open just a little bit. And I think what that means is your spring is too light. So you need to have a little bit heavier of a spring to keep that shut when you're cruising, and then it'll open up when you let off the gas and let all that pressurized boost air out. So I'm hoping when I start sketching that out, it'll kind of make a little bit more sense, and honestly, make a little more sense to me because it seems like rocket science. And if any of you guys really know your stuff on blow-off valves, feel free to comment down below and educate me some and educate all the people watching this video. I'd appreciate it. And again, if you guys like what I'm doing, hit that like and subscribe button. I've been growing like crazy and it has been amazing. I've talked to so many of you guys in the comments, and even on my Instagram page, I've been reaching out and talking to a ton of people and just getting to know where people ride and what they enjoy about the UTV world. So follow me on there if you want to kind of get into some of the personal stuff I do and just to get to know me a little bit more. But hit that like and subscribe button. Keep following along on these as I build my Pro XP and put some new parts on it and go out there and rip it. So I'm gonna cut to my little sketch up of how I think the blow-off valve works, and I'm gonna throw that new spring in there and we'll see what it does. Let's break it down on how your RZR turbo blow-off valve and turbo system actually works. So it all begins with your RZR intake system. I use a particle separator, and that's going to go before my airbox, and that just helps filter out more dust from the system and helps your engine run a little bit cleaner. If you want to see the install of that video, I'll link it up here and I'll also throw it down in the description below, but that does not really affect the system as a whole. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to use a basic diagram starting with the air filter. Air is going to get pulled through the filter and travels through your J tube, which you can see here, and then into your cold side of your turbo. From there, the air is going to get pressurized from the turbine and gets forced through your charge tube and then into your intercooler. The turbo RZR throttle body is actually before your intercooler, but that's not too important right now. So once the air is pressurized and then gets cooled off in your intercooler, it'll then head to the engine where the increased air helps the engine build power. Finally, after the engine uses that air, it exits the engine and then goes back into the turbo. It then spins the turbine, then will exit the turbo from the hot side and go through your exhaust of your choice. Now, that can be a whole nother topic in a later video that we can cover, but long story short, the more free flowing the exhaust, theoretically the more power, also means more noise. But it's all in preference. Now you might be wondering where the heck the blow-off valve comes into play. So let's go back and talk about kind of the throttle body and its purpose. So the throttle body is what controls the amount of air that's allowed to be forced into your engine. So when you're wide open, getting it on a hill or drag racing or any of those wide open throttle situations, your throttle body is going to be all the way open allowing all that boosted air to get into your engine. Now, as soon as you let off, that air's got to go somewhere. It basically is hitting a wall, and that's where the blow-off valve is going to come into play. So when it gets closed, after that full throttle scenario, the pressurized air is forced backwards through the charge tube. If there's no blow-off valve, it's going to go back into the turbo and try to reverse the direction of the turbine. So that is why the turbo blow-off valve is crucial to how the whole system works. So it will open when it sees a difference in pressure and releases the air into the atmosphere, or you can recirculate it back to your J-tube, which is prior to the turbo. So now is when you can start to adjust your blow-off valve. So the spring is actually what forces a valve to be closed. If the spring is too light, it will allow the valve to creep open under light throttle, which will result in, it kind of sounds like a boost leak in your system. And that's just allowing some air to kind of creep out when all of that boosted air is not used. If the spring is too heavy, it might not open soon enough and allow air to get back to the turbo when the throttle body is closed. That's why it's very important to make sure your valve is tuned properly, and it's going to be different for every application. So again, I'm no expert on turbos and RZRs and all this stuff, but this is kind of my general idea of how they work. If you know a lot more about them or have some ideas of how they work or anything like that, please drop them down in the comment section below. I'll try to get to all of them, read them all, give you my 2 cents. And if you like this video, give me a like and subscribe. Follow along as I keep doing more stuff with this RZR, learning more about it, and hopefully educating you guys on some stuff as well. I'm going to flip back to me actually adjusting the blow-off valve. It's super simple. You can get to it without disassembling anything on your RZR, especially these Pro XPs. You can get to them very easy, but it's very simple. So once you guys open up your blow-off valve, you're going to see that spring in there. That's going to be the lighter spring. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit stiffer of one in there, screw the cap back on, and that's going to be a wrap on this video. It's going to be a short one today, but I know some of you like those shorter ones. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something from this video. And if you did, again, hit that like and subscribe button and stick around. Hopefully I'm shooting the next couple weekends to get out and ride and test this new spring and see how it works. So thank you guys for following along, coming to my Tech Tip Sunday, and we'll see you guys later. Peace. I forgot to mention, everything in my system is all from RPM Powersports. Great quality stuff. I highly suggest you guys head to their website and check out all their stuff. I'm using their J-tube, charge tube, and blow-off valve, and recently I installed the Desert Series exhaust. There's going to be some more stuff coming from RPM, so you're going to want to stay tuned and see all the sweet stuff they're developing for these RZRs. But if you want to get anything from them, use code Schmidty at checkout, and you're going to get yourself a quick 5% off. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace.